If you're the kind of gamer who refuses to compromise, you need a machine that can sit on your desk for 10 hours of a marathon raid, stream your gameplay without hiccups, and still feel like a solid investment rather than a glorified expense. Then you're probably already wrestling with a lot of what-ifs. Will this laptop actually keep up when the frame rate spikes? Is the screen big enough for a content creation workflow? And, most importantly, am I buying raw horsepower that I'll actually use, or just a shiny spec sheet that gathers dust? Those questions are what keep a lot of us scrolling back and forth between product pages, trying to pin down the real-world value before we hit add to cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The msi Crosshair 18HX AI gaming laptop aims to answer those doubts by cramming desktop-class power into an 18-inch chassis. At first glance it feels like a statement piece: a 24-core Intel Ultra 9275HX CPU, an RTX 5070 GPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM running at 5600 MHz, and a 1TB NVMe SSD. That combo is undeniably impressive on paper, but the true test is how those components play together when you're actually on the battlefield, in a recording suite, or juggling a video edit after a night of gaming. Let's start with the display, because it's the first thing you notice when you open the lid. The 18-inch QHD Plus panel pushes 240Hz, which means you're not just looking at a sharper image, you're getting a fluid, lag-reduced experience that can make the difference between a clean kill and a missed shot in fast-paced shooters. In practice, that refresh rate shines on titles like Valorant and Call of Duty, where every millisecond counts. The screen is also large enough to comfortably run a second window for streaming software, so you can keep an eye on chat or set up overlays without squinting. That said, the panel's brightness peaks around 300 nits, so in a sunlit room you might still need to tilt the laptop or add a privacy filter to keep glare at bay. If you plan to use it mostly in a dimly lit bedroom or a dedicated gaming nook, the brightness won't be a deal-breaker, but it's worth noting if you want a fully versatile workstation. Moving to the heart of the machine, the Intel Ultra 9275HX is essentially a mini desktop CPU. In real-world multitasking, the 24 cores give you headroom to run a game, stream with OBS, and have a few browser tabs open without feeling the pressure. During a recent 8-hour gaming session, the laptop maintained stable clock speeds while the CPU temperatures hovered in the high 70s Celsius, thanks to MSI's advanced cooling system that combines dual fans and a vapor chamber design. What matters here is that the laptop didn't throttle under load, which is a common complaint with thin gaming laptops. If you're a creator who wants to edit 4K footage while a game runs in the background, that sustained performance is the kind of reliability you need. The RTX 5070 GPU is the next piece of the puzzle. It sits a notch below the RTX 4080 line that you'd find in some premium notebooks, but it still delivers a solid 12 teraflops of raw compute. In benchmarks, you'll see it hitting about 80 FPS on ultra settings in Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p, and more than 100 FPS in Fortnite at the same resolution with the highest settings. The real win, however, is in ray tracing workloads. If you enable RT in supported games, the 5070 holds its own better than many older RTX 30 series chips, offering a smoother experience without drowning your frame rate. For streamers, the built-in hardware encoder supports 4K 60 FPS recording, meaning you can broadcast at high quality without leaning on the CPU. That reduces the load on the processor and keeps the whole system cooler. Now, let's talk storage and memory because they're the quiet workhorses that keep everything humming. The 32GB of DDR5 at 5600 MHz feels abundant for most gaming scenarios, but its impact is most noticeable when you're running multiple heavy applications. I ran a test where I had Minecraft on one screen, OBS on another, and Adobe Premiere Pro in the background editing a 4K clip. The system swapped barely at all, and memory usage never topped 24GB, which suggests a comfortable margin for most power users. The 1TB NVMe SSD, while not a massive capacity, is lightning fast. Game load times are cut down to a few seconds, and transferring large video files is practically instantaneous. The trade-off is you'll need an external drive or cloud storage if you accumulate a sizable library of games or raw footage, but the speed gains more than compensate for the occasional offsite storage shuffle. One area where the Crosshair 18 shows its practical limits is portability. At roughly 8.2 pounds and a thickness of 0.8 inches, it's undeniably a stationary laptop. You can carry it to a friend's house, but you'll feel the bulk in the bag, and the battery life reflects that heft. MSI advertises up to 4 hours of mixed usage, and that's realistic. You'll get a couple of games or a solid work session before you need to plug in.